Good morning. Nice day off, and going through some pictures, going through some memories, going through some files. And I remembered a conversation I had the other day with someone about people getting over things, people going through things, and they weren't being overly harsh, but they were going, I just don't get it. Why doesn't this person move on through things, or why isn't this person, I'm not going to get into what their situation was, but essentially, why don't they get over things? And I mentioned to them, I said, well, when I say the word traumatic or trauma, to a lot of different people, it comes in different degrees. Um, the degree of trauma that some person is capable of just walking completely over is the case of or is the degree of a trauma to somebody who is completely frozen by it. And so my comment to them was saying that, and they said, I suppose so. But I turned around and I said, essentially it's like telling a addict, well, just don't think about it. It's like telling an alcoholic, well, don't think about alcohol. It doesn't work that way. And to those that have gone through PTSD, your extremes that, we've always heard, a loud bang or something like that can trigger off a veteran of war, and it just all of a sudden locks their brain into a whole different dynamic, a whole different parallel universe that they're walking in. It's like an automatic switch to a if you want to call it bipolar or whatever, to another degree of thinking. And so that's why I told them. I said, that's the reason why we need to be aware and conscious. We can say mental illness all the way to the moon. That we can say it 1,000,000 times over. It's not going to answer the questions. It classifies it, it labels it, but that's it. That's like me saying, well, that person's a human. Okay, great general term if we're talking about humans. But if you're trying to be specific, are they black, are they brown, are they white, are they yellow, are they red, are they, or do they have bald, are they hair, 1,000,000 different variables come into play. Same kind of thing. You can't just go mental illness. There's some people that are definitely locked in on a mental illness level that will require minute by minute observation, meds, whatever. And then there's people that have just gone through mild trauma or have phobias, So that's what I was telling this person. I said, it's easy for one person to turn around and say, get over it. But to that person that they're saying that to, automatically that person, if they're just kind of struggling or having a hard time coping, they're turning around and looking and going, they may lash out, But realistically, in their brain, they're looking at and automatically shutting that door and going, obviously, this person doesn't get it. This person does not understand the degree, going back to this degree thing. And some people do hold on to these things and never get past them and should. But for whatever reason, they just don't. They don't get to that light at the end of the tunnel, per se. You know, we get into the more of the spiritual realm and we're talking about ghosts or something like that, and they're going, well, they've never passed on. They've never left this realm. For some reason, they're in a continuous loop. Okay? Well, that's happening in real life, too. That's happening in a real sense, too. You know? But I go back to a simple example. And that is telling a person who is an addict of something, get over it. Don't think about it. Okay? There's a chemistry involved that doesn't let go. That does not let go. Whether it's a dopamine level, whether it's whatever it is inside that body. And so I say this today just to be, I'll probably end up posting this, just to be more vigilant about understanding other people. We've always needed that. And right now I can go completely off in a whole different realm, not going on the political end of things, but on what's going on in D.C., and bring out a whole different level of the same thing that we're talking about. The trauma of childhood, the trauma of being brought up in a certain environment, and how it's reflected. Add in an untold amount of wealth and the manipulation that it does to the mind, to the person, to the family around them, to a country. So that's what I wanted to say. Just be vigilant. Take the time to understand. And if you don't have that time, then take just a moment to watch your words and don't say get over it unless you're talking to a person that you know in your heart of hearts can get over it. You need to understand that degree of trauma they are going through, that degree of PTSD, that degree of addiction, that degree of where their head's at. Okay? It's all about compassion. It's all about love. It really is. To love another person enough that you're going to take that moment to understand your words that you speak to them before you speak. Have a beautiful day. Happy spring. Happy day off for me. Got nothing but love for you. Till next time.